that were initially brushed off by the mostly burly men of the Midwest, not wanting to be seen as like jumpy or easily spooked. So none of them said anything. What are you guys giggling about?
Nothing. You said burly, and we both went.
I missed it because Scott was getting me.
Welcome to our life.
So, tell me something terrible. But we usually just start these by bullshitting, then segue into the intro. That's the hardest part.
Good.
In case they can't tell, they had no clue that was how we started.
No, it's not like
they
we listen to it twice a week or anything like that.
Yeah, they thought it was scripted.
On my way to work, randomly,
Yeah. Hey, and on the 31st of every month, that bonus episode pops up on Patreon.
I usually remind him on the 29th.
The close call of last month?
Yes.
I remind him on like the 29th, like, hey, that bonus episode. And he goes, I don't even know what I'm going to do.
And then I write it. Yeah.
Timothy Caldwell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back off. That's my list.
I'm trying to go less.
Oh, you don't share lists?
No.
No, I don't. I have a hard time being like, I'm going to read about death on my off time. That's more her thing.
So you just listen to murder podcasts, and then it makes you delve into it deeper. That's
true. I think I like the one ear out. Feels like my own voice is echoing in my head.
Yeah.
It's like the backpack at school.
The backpack.
Got your one
cool
strap.
Kids only wear one strap.
Yep.
Not anymore. All the kids wear two.
Yeah. Being nerdy became really cool since we graduated high school.
I had a duffel bag. That's the least cool way you can go about it.
A
It's just
duffel
hanging
bag.
on the side of you like you're a newspaper deliverer.
Like a duffel bag or a satchel? There's a
Duffel
difference.
bag.
I had a satchel.
No.
I had the big.
I had a Harry Potter
with the flap
satchel at one
thing.
point, but it was too small to fit my stuff.
Yeah. No, mine was definitely big enough. And it like weighed you down. Like it just messed up one shoulder.
It does.
Yeah.
It's like your photography bag.
Yeah. Yeah.
The chick I work with, she's got a new one that's a plaid satchel with a Pikachu on it. Right?
Pika, pika.
Exactly.
I hear that all day long.
Lily can do it in the voice, so it's very terrifying.
Yeah. At like the
That is
right age
terrifying.
and everything.
Because she's tiny. The cat's sniffing my shoes. Our animals are stupid.
Scott, you should have got your Michigan glass that matches.
I do have the
Oh,
same
no.
glass.
You
You want me to pour a seltzer in it?
Yeah.
That'll be very much. Wait,
We
is
don't
that
speak
from-
where these glasses came from.
Oh, it
though.
is. Okay.
Is there a story?
No, that was my wedding gift for all my
no.
groomsmen.
I still have
no,
it.
he pulled
Sorry.
it out,
Yeah.
and I mentioned it, and then I was like, as soon as I mentioned it, I was like, shit. And then he's like, and then he goes,
Then the light
wait,
bulb
isn't that
clicked.
from? And my eyes got real big while I was staring at him.
Yep. I remember
Shut
that
up.
now. Yep.
I
Yeah,
was
that's all right.
pregnant at that wedding and didn't know.
Yep.
I've heard
Yeah.
that.
I fell off a stage. I had
heard
to
of
play
that.
catch up. I got super smashed, and then the next day
That's
I
right.
Yep,
found
me
out I
too.
was pregnant.
That's why you get to get super smashed again
Yeah.
and not be
That's true.
pregnant
That's true.
Yeah.
I will
and not
never
fall off
be
a stage.
We have
Nope.
we do have a wedding in a month, by the way. Don't forget.
pregnant. Shit. My tubes are tied.
Thank you.
Just get a fake pregnancy belly. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
just
you
start
can have,
drinking
like,
and start freaking people out.
I'll just eat a pretzel and then I'll look like I'm pregnant.
The chick who's getting married is pregnant.
She's super pregnant.
She's gonna
right
be
now.
like-
She's gonna be like 5 months, 6
yeah.
months.
Yeah.
Oh, God. So that's what I'm trying to avoid.
Yeah.
Good plan.
Be pregnant and married. That sounds like
Have
a
that
terrible idea.
have that honeymoon baby. Wait till then.
No. I don't want to give that pleasure to my mother.
Oh yeah. No, out of spite. Yeah.
Oh, man. I love her. She just keeps tapping that button. I'm just like,
Right?
relax.
Yeah.
It'll never happen.
Yeah. My
Well, because I'm the
If you keep
first one to get
Oh.
married.
Oh, it's
Oh.
happening.
What's
I
happening?
saw the dog and the cat. I was waiting for it. If we get it on
Waiting
camera,
for
dude, I'm
some-
gonna die.
They're
I'll
gonna
die
have OnlyFans
laughing.
It's gonna be like I'm gonna have to blur it out in the background.
That should be in the TikTok. Your first
Actually, that
TikTok.
would be a really funny
no.
fucking TikTok.
Oh my god, have you actually heard that song?
The whole song?
The whole
It's
song.
an actual song?
Yes.
No.
I've
look
heard
it up.
bits of
You'll
it.
appreciate it.
Oh no.
It's very gangster.
Of course it is.
Who'd have thought?
Yeah, it's straight
Don't
on
do that.
gangster rap. Like it starts out with like you
Stop.
smoke weed.
Stop.
Like, it's a good one.
You've sang in like 6 straight podcasts, by the way. Little bits.
I don't. That's not real singing.
Well, I meant.
It's not really singing. It's more like spoken word.
Yeah.
So it's like country music.
No,
All
it's
right,
just
you
not
ready to
talking
start
about a
this thing?
truck.
She wrote like
Yep.
literally a short book. So
Oh,
It is
dear Lord.
4,400
Single
words.
spaced.
yeah, it's
No,
single.
this is how my notes always look like.
You can't see that.
What?
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
we go.
It is.
that
Oh,
typed?
I
Jesus.
use Georgia font, size 13, single spaced, half-inch margins.
And she's got 8
Fuck.
pages of this shit. She's like fucking Hermione
Fuck.
over here.
Oh my god.
All right.
All right.
Hermione.
So, I guess we'll officially start, and then
Yeah.
you guys can introduce yourselves.
All right.
Hi, I'm Tiffany,
And I'm Scott.
and you're listening to Tell Me
No,
Something
they gotta say
Terrible.
their stuff first.
Oh shit.
Who
Let's
are you
try
guys?
this again.
No.
Hi, I'm Tiffany.
We're not gonna edit this. I'm Scott. I don't edit shit. Who are you guys?
Good.
Oh, awkward.
Hi, I'm Beth.
And I'm Jamie.
And you're listening to Tell Me Something Terrible.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I've
it's
always
gonna be
wanted
that smooth the whole episode.
Yep.
If you
Yep.
can't tell, we have guests, and we're not in the same room, and it actually sounds like decent audio. All good things. We're joined by patrons. I gotta
we
remember
are.
we have cameras too.
Oh, we do.
Yeah.
Jamie and Beth. I guess soon to be wed. Date unknown.
Close enough.
I almost
Halfway
said.
date.
I almost
Yeah.
said
We picked
newlyweds.
a date.
November 5th next year.
Next year, November 5th. All right, everyone, save the date. Everyone listening. We'll all
We're
be
gonna
there.
crash the party.
Yep.
All 12
Or-
people.
We'll release the address.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Hey, we went over. Today was a big day. Actually, we got an email from our host site. We went over 2,500 downloads, like
Oh, shit.
all time.
Look at
Yeah.
you.
So that's a big
Nice.
milestone.
Look at you.
Yeah,
We had
Awesome.
somebody download every single episode
a couple days ago.
Wow.
Yeah,
to listen to, because it's physically impossible to do it in one day, but somebody did it.
I'm
I don't
hearing
know.
things. I don't know what the fuck. That might turn into a haunted, like a ghost episode again. There's just noises coming from the dark over there.
Yeah, he says the house isn't haunted, but it is.
There's a
mean, with the way
YouTuber
it
that-
creaks.
Yeah, there's a YouTuber that has a channel called My Haunted House, and he like ghost hunts his own house. I'm like, fuck that, never.
No.
I would never
Salt
do
and
that.
burn that shit.
Yeah,
Salt
like-
Yeah, I
and
would move.
burn.
No,
Wow.
I would never
out.
have. I don't even like leaving the mics on when we're not around them because I don't want to see them pick up anything. Like I'm like I don't want
Yeah.
EVPs. Yeah, because you can see the
Yeah.
like from across the room. You see like the little bars like they'll go up, and I'm like, fuck no, go turn those things off.
Nope.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Oh, but you're a
it looks
skeptic, right?
She's like,
Yeah.
Just
she's into
ignorant.
it.
Just put the computer in a circle of salt. You'd be fine.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, yeah. We'll put some selenite out. It'll be fine.
We also live
Yeah.
like on a stone quarry, so our house is probably supercharged with all that energy shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I used to go down there as a kid all the
Me
time with Dan
too.
McCarty.
Yeah, he lived
Yep.
at the end of our road. I
Yeah.
don't know if his mom still lives down there or not.
Who?
Dan McCarty.
Oh,
Are we allowed to say names on the podcast? Yeah. it's
Oh
fine.
yeah, I forgot about
if
that.
it's the
We'll bleep
woman
it
that I
later.
met the other day,
I don't know.
or like 6 months ago, it's probably not.
Now the dog is sitting next to my side, staring in the darkness where the sounds came from. So I'm sure it's fine.
It's fine.
All right. Hey, what's this
Yeah.
one about?
Okay. So, this episode,
I kind of know what it's about.
yep,
You guys don't know what it's about.
I
No.
thought that I would combine kind of both of your interests. Jamie is a history nerd,
History major.
major, not just nerd, major. And then a little
Is
bird
credited.
told me that Beth really likes colonial America. So
I do. Oh yeah. Well, Hamilton wise, yes.
yes, we're not going quite. This is about 50 years later.
Earlier?
Nope, later.
I'd just like to make her question herself.
The 1800s
She's got a pen,
comes
she's
after
fine.
the 1700s.
That's how numbers work.
History 101. Breaking.
17,
I don't have a
18, 19.
I don't have a rubber band full of dates on my wrist. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's the best way to get through the class.
You better
still-
pull one out and take notes.
And
We're
I
gonna
sh-
quiz
Yeah.
everybody.
I should have paid attention because I still don't know anything can happen. Like anything. It's embarrassing more times than not. Will you get to the topic? Sorry, I'll stop interrupting
Okay.
for now.
So I thought I'd combine everything all into one. And we're going to cover the Wild West's greatest mystery, which is the Bloody Benders. Have you heard of the Bloody Benders?
Bloody Benders?
Yep.
No,
They're a
it
family.
sounds like a bad metal band name, though.
I thought it sounded like a disease. Like you were on a boat for too long and you got the bloody benders. Like where you just, every time you stand up, you keel over and shit blood. Something like that.
Yeah, that's
in my
kind of
mind.
where I was going. Like,
Yeah, that's what a bloody
Or-
bender, it's some weird, horrible
like
thing that
bloody
happens to you.
shit.
It's,
That used to be a Halo name back in the day when we played Halo.
Oh, no.
What,
Of course
bloody
it
shit?
was.
Or bloody
Yeah,
benders?
you got killed by bloody shit.
God. No, like I first thought of this like British. Oh, yeah, I'm on a bloody bender.
yeah, like someone who drinks, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, this is way worse. They're a family of serial killers.
Oh,
Oh, that's
lovely.
fun.
Love it.
Yeah.
It's all
So
in
Are
the
you getting
family.
used to hearing yourself in your ear still?
nope. So we're going to discuss the story of what has been dubbed Hell's Half Acre, which is the killing grounds for the United States' first serial killer families. They wound up accumulating 11 to 21 plus victims, and then they disappeared into the wild prairies of Southwest America.
It's always
Okay.
the Southwest of America.
They were in Kansas. And
Of course they were.
disappeared. Yeah.
Like towards
Of course
Arizona?
they were.
You mean southwest? Yeah, that's Arizona-ish
Yeah.
vicinity.
Yeah.
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 We'll get to it.
Geography is
Corner
my
of the
strength. That's
Yeah.
been proven in this podcast.
So, in October of 1870, an older German man and his younger adult son arrived in Kansas. In Osage?
What?
Osage?
Sure.
Sure.
Feel free to interrupt her whenever you want to. That's how
Yeah.
this podcast works.
Corrections, we're all for it.
All right. Good to
So
know.
this is 7 miles northeast of the future Cherryvale and Independence and Fort Scott.
Oh, yeah, I know where we're at.
Yep. Those town names they're important.
They're important.
Yep.
I'm going to
Cherryvale.
forget every single one of them.
Independence.
And Fort Scott.
Oh, that one's easy. I got that one. You
Yeah.
guys remember the other two.
Yeah, good.
All right.
So their intent was to take advantage of the Homestead Act of 1962, which encouraged the white men of the time to move westward to colonize the rest of the continent by allowing them to live and make improvements upon the land. So if you live there for a minimum of 5 years, it was your land. I think it was like $10 for 160 acres, and then it could be yours.
It's a pretty good deal.
Yep. So this was actually where Native American tribes lived, and the federal government had kicked them off and put them in
course
like a
they did.
designated
Shocker.
reserve in
Of course
Oklahoma.
they did.
So
White
it's like
men.
a
Jesus
reservation.
Christ.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. And they were like,
Manif-
we're gonna kick
manifest
all these
destiny.
people.
Manifest
Let's not
destiny,
dive
yeah.
into that
Yes.
one.
That's
Yeah.
exactly
I will start
it. The
shaking
Homestead-
things.
The Homestead Act of 1862 was literally manifest destiny.
Yeah, this is a podcast
Fucking white people.
half by white men and very much against white men. So it's good. Yeah. The whole thing.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
great
marrying
mix.
a white man and I hate white men.
It sucks because you're also marrying a tall white man.
I
at least
know,
got
it
to
makes it
marry
worse.
I got to marry a short white man, so
Is that better?
yes.
Oh, good. How many serial killers are tall?
I don't know.
All of them.
All of them? Lies.
I mean, I'm very short as is, so all people are taller than me.
That is that is true.
So
You're like
it's kind of hard to
5'5" is
judge.
tall.
I mean, I'm only
So-
5'4", so
Scott's only like 3 inches shorter than me. It's not like
yeah,
a
he's not
huge
like
difference.
it's not that big of a
That's not
difference.
true.
I'm 5'8". I don't know if that's worth.
Yeah, he's about the tall
I mean,
as my
I'm
dad.
I'm like 6, even
You're,
6'1".
yeah, you're like 6'1".
Yeah.
What's
So he's
what's
5
4
inches
Come on.
shorter than you.
That's what she said.
Yeah, I'm only 5 inches shorter than him standing up.
Sitting
That's a
down.
terrible joke.
Who knows?
Not like that.
Terrible joke.
That's fine if you're flaccid or not.
Boy,
Oh,
it
that's a
sure is
concern.
cold in here.
Just left nothing to the imagination there. We're just diving
Nope,
right in.
Diving right in.
I get
Again, I
hung
blame
out
my
to dry
mother. It's all her
constantly in
fault.
this show, so
So the pair took up adjoining plots, the son and the father,
I'm listening. Keep
of
reading.
which the father claimed a deed for that was 160 acres, and then the son claimed a skinny plot just north of it. So this allowed for 3/4 of a mile between their little eventual cabin and the closest neighbor. Did you make it?
Yep, I'm back.
Okay. So the two set out to build a 20 by 24 square foot single roomed cabin. And along with it, they built a rough lean-to barn stable thing, and they dug a well. The cabin was placed strategically along the Great Osage Trail, which is later known as the Missions Road. And it was also the only transmissible road between Independence and Fort Scott.
Those are important towns.
They are.
Yes.
Soon, an older woman and a young adult daughter would join them. So the family was known as the Benders. They were one of 5 spiritualist families that decided to
Never
pack
a good
up.
start.
Yeah, we're on a downhill turn already.
You got white men, Indians being
White men and
isolated.
religion.
Yep, and now you brought.
Yep.
And in
Flags
Kansas.
1, 2, and 3.
Yep.
Yep.
So
Check.
Yep. So this unassuming, almost rude, very crass family consisted of the father, who was known as John Jr. Just kidding, John Sr.
I bet you his son's John Jr.
It is.
Okay.
He was about 60 years old. He was a stout man who spoke broken English in a thick German accent. And the mother, Elvira, she was about
Nice.
55 years old. Yeah.
I was gonna say Karen, but close enough.
A little too soon for Karen.
Oh,
Elvira.
okay.
What a name.
I'm just guessing. I'm projecting. I'm making a prediction.
So, she spoke even less English and has been described as an unfriendly she-devil. Quote, not particularly different from the average German woman of low degree.
I was just also thinking if Avril, like Avril Lavigne, was Elvira backwards. I don't think it is, but my brain can't rearrange the letters.
So
I don't think so.
You can say she was a sauerkraut.
Wow.
That's my only good joke the whole night.
And he was.
Amazing.
Womp,
Yeah.
womp.
I was gonna say
You
he was
don't
a
get it.
stout little and make that like a sausage
stout
joke.
joke?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
nah.
Um,
Oh, you're
Maybe this is
thinking
where the
stout.
conspiracy theory of Avril Lavigne dying comes into play.
oh, no, not yet.
Not yet?
That's a good conspiracy theory, though. Have you heard
It
that
is
one?
a good conspiracy theory.
No.
That she died and she's been replaced by a lookalike, and that's why her music
Yep.
changed a little bit.
Oh.
Yep.
You should have been up for that role.
Fuck off.
You should see pictures of high school Tiff. She's very Avril.
No, I envision it.
You're
That
right.
was middle school Tiff. High school Tiff was very the curly-haired chick from Tattoo. No? All right.
All right.
So their oldest son was named John Jr., not Senior.
No.
And he was around 25 years old, and he also looked like the typical German man, but with a little lighter features.
Tiny little mustache.
And it was described as a handsome mustache.
Was it?
Literally.
Oh no!
Was it? No.
I didn't want to go down that rabbit hole. But
So he spoke with
Should I go
slight-
shave for this episode?
Yes. So he spoke with a slightly less thick accent, and some accused him of being dim-witted because he would get like excitedly chatty or would sometimes laugh to himself.
That's normal.
Yeah,
And
that's
their
normal.
youngest daughter, her name was Kate. She was around 23 years old. She was described as either a very well-built, attractive woman or as, quote, large, masculine, red-faced woman who bore an exceedingly bad reputation.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
Those are
that's the
very
people
different.
who didn't like her.
Yes.
Yes.
So it depends, I guess,
Okay.
on who she pissed off.
So that's how we would talk
Yes.
about Tiff. Some people find her to be an attractive woman. Other people are like, she's loud and muscular. So
And the more alcohol I
mean,
drink, the redder I
And you
get.
can say that about any
you
woman.
did say she has an ass for Instagram, so
I did.
mean, that's like the ultimate honor.
That's a nice
And I don't.
compliment.
And Scott
I guess
has
it's
a
not good
face
enough for
for
Instagram.
radio.
He does.
She's over here side-eyeing the hell out of you, Jamie. You're in trouble.
I know.
I'll just get my 8-inch boots and start beating the shit out of them.
There you go.
Yes.
Are you gonna wear them or just use them as a handheld weapon?
Both.
Both.
Yeah. There you
She
go.
has multiple,
Multiple
pairs. Don't
pairs.
give her ideas.
Just walking around like a horse, just on her hands. And her feet.
I've seen people do that
Ka-clop,
on Instagram,
ka-clop,
by the way.
That is the stuff of nightmares.
Welcome to the pole world.
Right.
She was also described as slender, flirtatious, good-spirited, or she could be a manipulative, rough woman. She's a self-proclaimed healer and a psychic that conducted seances and gave lectures on spiritualism and advocating free love.
She's a witch.
Yes,
So a
she
witch.
is.
Okay.
So this wound up drawing a lot of people to the Wayside Inn, which is what their cabin eventually became known as.
Wayside?
Wayside.
Okay. I thought you
Yep.
said waist
Wayside
side.
Inn.
I was like, not staying there.
So there's a lot of
like a
convoluted
waste.
information regarding Kate. So like you determined, it just really depends on who you're talking to and how much she pissed them off. So once the women joined the little group, the cabin was then divided into two parts by the wagon cover that Kate and Elvira brought with them. In the smaller section of the cabin,
Wasn't it already pretty small? Like 20 by
Yeah, it's
24?
20 by 24.
20, yeah.
it's
But they
tiny.
made this huge barn. Why not just make another barn and go live in that?
Like this room is almost 20 by 24.
We'll
I mean,
we'll get to
they
why.
weren't the smartest of people in Kansas.
Yeah, and if you moved out there, then you know it was even worse.
Rock Chalk
Exactly.
Jayhawk? Is that what they say there? Rock Chalk Jayhawk? Jamie might know.
I have no
So-
idea.
Kansas says?
No idea.
It's something like that. It has to do with the Jayhawk. Kansas City University?
Sure.
Okay. Good talk.
Sure. Yeah.
Yay, sports.
That's collegiate sports.
So, the smaller section of the cabin is where the family would stay, and then the larger part was converted into the Wayside Inn and a dry grocer. So this is where the vendors would sell tobacco, crackers, sardines, candy, powder, and shot to the passing travelers between those two little towns. And they acted...
Powder and shot means something way different now than it used to.
I mean, Tiff said cracker. I thought she was just going to say crack.
The party
like
stores
egg crack.
nowadays are way more lit than they used to be. Go to Vic's up the road and get some powder
Get
and
lit.
shot too, but
We're going to get lit.
I'm getting chocolate wasted.
I'm getting chocolate wasted.
So...
gather yourself.
They could also act as a little rest stop for either actual sleep or for a good cooked meal for the travelers. So
Or
for
good
feeding
time.
the travelers, Kate and Elvira, after they arrived, had nearly immediately planted a vegetable garden and an orchid.
Wow, that's aesthetic. They're like, we need an orchid. That would look beautiful out here.
Just one?
Yes.
Just one.
Just one?
An orchard.
Oh, an orchard. Okay.
Yes, an orchard.
Much more useful.
Yes.
So this wound up taking up only 2 acres of their giant 160 plus parcels, like acres of land. So Kate attached a roughly written primitive sign to the door that just simply said groceries. So this stretch of Kansas and the Mission Road would soon become infamous for disappearances and murders. Initially thought to be the doings of, quote, horse thieves and villains, the first person...
That narrows it down.
Do what?
That narrows it down.
Yep.
It's very broad.
Yes. So the first person found in May of 1871 was known simply as Mr. Jones. He was found face down in Drum River, which is nearby.
Was it like a John Doe of the day? Just Mr. Jones.
Mr. Jones.
No, because they just said unknown. I couldn't find any information about his first name.
Just Mr. Jones.
Just Mr. Jones.
Is that where the song
Like,
comes
I was
from?
like the Counting Crow sauce.
Mr. Jones, let me.
Exactly.
Then it just gets real depressing after that.
The
It
song?
Nope. The murder.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I was gonna say I don't even know the rest of
Oh.
this. That's like all I know of the song.
Me too.
Mr.
Mr. Jones. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
So Mr. Jones was found face down in Drum River with a blow to the back of his head and his throat slit from ear to ear.
Ooh,
Yum.
by an 8-inch heel? No.
I didn't do it.
So next there were 2 unidentified men found left in the prairie in February of 1872 in the same manner, with the blow to the back of the head and the slit throat.
From ear to ear?
Yeah.
Were they?
That's aggressive.
It was all
Yes.
like spread out.
Yeah. Well, they had the first one in 71, and then it was like
Within 9 months.
9 months later, the next
I
2
meant like
were
the
found.
location was spread out.
Yeah. Yep, they kind of found him sort of in the middle of nowhere, and then this guy was just in a river. So this is where things start to ramp up. Strange accusations start to float about regarding the Benders. A woman was traveling with her husband along the Mission Road when the pair needed to stop for the night. So the husband needed to make it to the local blacksmith, so the wife was left behind in the care of the Benders. Because she had a headache, the wife decided to lay down while Kate and Elvira cooked a meal. When she
First
woke,
mistake.
she saw the...
I'm surprised she woke.
She
Yeah, right? Dead. She never woke
so
up.
she found the meal that the women had prepared for her was an appetizing spread of Bowie knives and pistols.
Oh, it's classy.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So as the...
I thought it was
as-
Bowie knives.
Is it Bowie? No, it's Bowie. That's his last name.
No, it's Bowie.
It's
Bowie?
It's definitely
Okay.
Bowie.
It's based
Oh
off
yeah,
of a dude.
Yeah, Bowie's a different thing.
There's a whole dollop.
Yeah.
I know.
Bowie's
I've
like
watched
a
enough.
water
oh,
buoy.
What's the Forge and Fire? I've watched enough of those. I should know.
Yeah.
I was thinking Bowie in my head. How's that, Vizzy?
Great.
Good. I tweeted them to sponsor us today. See if it happens.
Fingers
I
crossed.
keep
guys.
tweeting Tom Hiddleston to officiate our wedding. He hasn't responded yet.
Damn it. Also,
I told you we need to do TikToks. We need to do day one of doing something on TikTok until Tom Hiddleston will officiate the
But
wedding.
he doesn't have a TikTok.
So we'll make him get a TikTok.
His people have TikTok.
Yeah, his somebody
People
will
have
see
TikTok.
it. Yep.
Just saying.
Except,
Yeah.
Jamie, if I were you, I'd be worried that she would just run off. You guys wouldn't actually
She would,
get married.
yeah, secretly
I'd
accept
use
his
my hall
vows.
pass right there.
Yes.
She's,
Right in the middle of the wedding.
she takes the ring and just slips it on his finger.
Yeah.
Oh, looky there. And now we're married.
I think his girlfriend would be a little upset with me.
Yeah, a little.
A little bit. Bitch.
So,
I mean,
she's a great person.
I'm sure she is because she's got Tom Hiddleston.
So this woman woke up and found the Bowie knives
Bowie
and the
knives.
pistols. And as she stood up from the bed, Kate told her that she was a spiritual medium and that she was communing with the spirits right in front of this poor, horrified woman. And they were tapping and rapping on the tables. And then the spirit told Kate that the woman needed to die. So Kate and Elvira each grabbed knives from the tables, and the woman ran from the house in the dead of winter with no shoes, no bonnet, and no coat.
No
Oh.
bonnet.
No bonnet. The scandal.
This is some,
Her hair, it's going to get cold.
it's like a Dyatlov Pass situation. What made them run?
The Benders with the Bowie knives.
Vendors in the kitchen.
Have we
The
done?
worst game of Clue.
Yeah.
We haven't done Dyatlov Pass, have we? I know everybody has, but I didn't know if we had.
I love Dyatlov Pass. I wanted to save Dyatlov Pass as a discussion with you
Okay.
because your theory is rock solid.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh,
What?
No.
It's great.
it is great.
All right.
It's Russian.
Of course it is.
We did so good with the last Russian episode. Let's try
Yeah.
again.
Let's do shots of vodka during the episode. What could go wrong?
Pour it in a
Right?
wine and be fine.
Yeah.
Blub, blub, blub.
Mellow it out a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah, that's what it'll do.
Yeah.
Dilute it with alcohol.
So this poor woman, she hid in the tall grass of the prairie while the Benders searched for her by lantern light. They finally gave up the search, which allowed her to run to the closest neighbor, which is again like a mile away. Here she conveyed the story to the neighbor, who then, once her husband finally found her the following morning, she told him what was up. Her story made its way through the nearby towns and then onto the train that they were getting onto for their travels, and then it made its way into newspapers, but it was dismissed as, quote, fearful pantomime of an insanity, and that she, quote, must certainly have been delirious.
Of course.
It's a good story
Can't
to make
trust a
up.
woman's word.
You
Yeah,
can't,
right?
because the
No.
Benders, as antisocial as they can be, Kate and John Jr. would go to Sunday school, and they were both feared as like God-fearing individuals.
Spiritualist.
Of course. That's how it all works.
Do you make a single "You're not in Kansas anymore" joke in this podcast? Like
I
in your
don't.
Hand?
That's up to you.
Okay, good. I'm gonna keep it in my back
for
pocket.
the information.
I was saving it.
That's right. When you're just talking about them looking by lantern light, all I can think of is, I'm tired of this, Grandpa. That's too damn bad. That's all I can think of the whole time.
We spend way too much time on TikTok.
That's from Holes. The movie Holes.
TikTok.
Holes with what's his
Shia
face?
LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf. Yeah.
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 Great
So-
movie.
I only know motivational. Yeah, Shia LaBeouf.
Right?
When he lost his marbles, yeah.
Or he finally found his marbles. It's either way, you know.
Perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
His true self. Whichever version of him you want.
So
I like the
even though
Holes
Kate
version.
was a spiritualist, that started she wound up posting ads in the nearby town's hotels and newspapers for her spiritual abilities. It read, "Professor Kate Bender can heal disease, cure blindness, fits, and deafness," and then gave the residents 14 miles east of Independence on the road Assuage.
You should have looked up how to say that.
I should
Since
have.
it's like in here 20 times.
It's fine.
I'd Google it, but my phone's over there.
And then she dated it June 18th, 1872. Along with her claims that she was a practiced in phrenology. Anybody know what phrenology is?
Phrenology.
With a PH. That's all I can see. I have no idea what it means.
With
It's
a
where
PH.
It's a PH.
yes.
Uh,
So it must
I was
be.
to say the study of ferns, but
Nope.
Ah,
It's where they
It's fake.
it's super racist.
I'm going to say
actually.
it's fake.
It is
Oh.
very fake. It is
It's
based on like
a
your face shape.
cryptozoologist?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
A ziptocruologist.
Ziptocruologist.
So it's based
What?
on your face shape and your skull shape and the like lumps and holes and divots in your head is to determine your predisposition, what you could possibly do in your life, and also like what you would be good at for a living and if you're smart or
sounds
I mean, if
Sounds
you're going off
credible.
like percentage Neanderthal, that could be useful.
not. Oh yeah,
Yeah, like, with
Like-
how evolved your skull is.
40,000 years out.
Yeah. Yeah, see how much you got in you.
So it is speculated that this ad, along with being an inn which allowed people to rest for the night, was how the Benders drew unwitting victims to the Wayside Inn.
Vulnerable people.
Yep. So after the gruesome discoveries, don't worry, we'll get to it.
How do you wear headphones for 4 hours, man? My ears are sweating already.
I get it a lot too, man. I don't have a cure for it, bro. I don't know.
We don't record
It
with
just is.
headphones ever because we just sit here and talk.
Yeah.
So it's like super hot. Anyway,
He's
It's-
got really
yeah.
skinny ears.
me?
No,
Yeah.
Jamie, from
Oh.
using this, like when
I
wrestling,
do?
when you would put the bags on to sweat. His ears are in really good shape.
He wasn't a
Oh.
wrestler.
No. That's the only analogy I could come up with.
That's
she
a
was trying to be
terrible
funny.
analogy.
Let it go.
Nope. No.
Thank you.
No. I have to bring it back up over and over again and call back
That's
to
right.
it later.
These like dangle off my ears because my head is too big. So I'll probably have to like start fucking with them soon.
Oh, just don't bump the mic. You'll be fine.
Hit it all you want. I
Can't
don't
promise
care.
that.
Yeah, that
That's what
happens.
she said.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
So
I'm gonna
after-
keep throwing those in there.
You have to.
So
we have a
after
quota.
the gruesome discoveries, there were several accounts of eyewitnesses that managed to escape with their lives that were initially brushed off by the mostly burly men of the Midwest, not wanting to be seen as like jumpy or easily spooked. So none of them said anything. What are you guys giggling about?
Nothing. You said burly. We both went.
I missed it because
Welcome-
Scott was getting me. a
Welcome to our life.
We can watch it back on video. If you could, this will be on YouTube if you
We'll
want to see.
isolate it to TikTok.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple burly men over here. Hold on, you want to ASMR that, Vizzy?
Hold on, we have to ASMR the Vizzy.
One per episode. Jesus.
Ooh. She sprayed.
Yeah,
On the face.
She's a
I'll get you a
squirter.
towel. Oh, you got it on my goddamn monitor. Look at it all.
Oh.
She got it all over the monitor.
Don't come on the screen.
No, look, it's on. She literally got it on your guys' faces. You can't see it, but it's all over your faces.
I'm so sweaty and I'm like crying.
This is why we turned on the AC. I told you it gets hot in
It's
here.
so hot in here.
So this is
Right.
what you don't see behind the scenes, dude. When I shut the door, it's like
bajillion degrees.
It's like high school locker room football, sweaty.
Is this
in here? It's nasty.
you got
Ugh.
you got Baxter in the back corner just flossing himself?
Oh no, no, God. I'll never get that image out of my head.
Oh, that sounds terrible. Oh my god.
Oh God.
Just ask any football player. Just mention the Baxter flaws, bro. They're all gonna cover their faces.
Yeah.
Dude, my
instantly.
mom was a janitor. I know. My mom.
Oh
proved
no,
it.
no.
That's after hours, Baxter. That's a whole different level,
Jesus.
probably. Oh,
Sounds
keep
like a
your
shitty
strawberry
situation.
kiwi over there.
Okay.
All right.
Now that we've been fully derailed, these
Yes.
burly men
Yep.
didn't want to be seen as jumpy or easily spooked, so a lot of the stories were dismissed. So there are two young men that stopped by the inn. One engaged in conversation with Kate, while the other was separated by John Sr. and taken outside. Kate convinced this traveler to let her tell him his fortune and read his head for that phrenology business. So she managed to talk this man down onto his knees, where he
Very persuasive.
he felt very uncomfortable, and he was on high
bet.
alert.
I bet.
And then he heard footsteps inside the room, and out of the corner of his eyes, he saw Elvira moving quietly beside him, concealing something in her right arm behind her dress.
Hold on.
So
Is he facing her or away from her?
he is facing her.
So he's on his knees
Yes,
and she's
sir.
rubbing his scalp
Yes.
while he's facing her. Okay, good. That's a good visual.
That's a great visual.
I got
Yeah.
a couple ideas what's going on here.
Yeah.
She just really wanted to tell him what kind of job he'd be good at.
Yeah. Sir.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not even going
Sure.
to go down that road.
Yep.
No, let's not do that.
Yep. Throttle back.
So after he saw like the movement out of the peripherals of his eyes,
He could see? Sorry. Figured it was pretty. Anyway.
So he immediately jumped up and ran outside and collected his friend to leave. And then there was a Mr. Wetzel from Independence. He decided to go to Kate in hopes that she could heal a nerve issue in his face. So after examining his face, she decided that
Sit on it. Sorry.
Right?
It sounds unnerving.
Good idea. Try this.
Sure, I can fix your
This is what
face.
I say in my
Come
car as I listen. This is what happens.
So, she decided she could heal him. But first, they had to have dinner.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Mr. Wetzel and his friend that had accompanied him were sat in the places of honor, which placed them with their backs against that canvas divider. And they were so close that their backs were touching the cloth partition and the backs of their heads were pressing into the canvas.
Which is where they got stabbed.
Not stabbed.
Oh, blunt force trauma. Then they slit the. That's
Yes.
right. I gotcha.
Yep. So, as they sat at the table, John Sr. and Jr. disappeared. And for some inexplicable reason, both Mr. Wetzel and his friend stood up immediately from the table because they got real uncomfortable. And they decided that they were going to eat dinner at the counter of the general shop instead. So this is when Kate's friendly demeanor changed. She started yelling at them, and then both of the Johns emerged from the curtain.
With bats.
They literally had poles in their hands, and they were like, we're going to head out to the barn. Not sus at all.
That's not sus.
No. So
No,
the two guests
never.
became suspicious, and they decided to take their leave. So they headed out of the house.
You guys can sing it. That's fine. Don't be suspicious. Don't.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
He hears
I
me
just
say
don't want
that
to
all the
interrupt.
time.
I feel like I'm interrupting.
No, don't interrupt. That's
Wait
the
for a
whole point.
pause.
Yeah.
So they wound up heading out of the house and jumped on a passing buggy, and then they escaped on to live away from the Benders.
To tell their story.
Yes. So
live
there
another
were
day.
multiple instances of guests being sat at the table with their backs against the partition, where the guests have felt the elder John, so John Sr., standing behind them, only to turn around. So, like, at this point, there's some instances where he's not behind
It's
the curtain.
creepy,
Yeah.
and people will pick up on
Yeah,
it.
that's
Yeah,
creepy.
he just, like,
Yeah.
feels them feels him standing there, and they've looked behind him.
They feel John Sr.'s pipe touching them. Like, what's that?
You're just
I
happy
can
to
tell you
see
exactly
me.
what it is. It's a hammer.
Oh, okay. I thought you
Yes.
said he had a pipe earlier.
Yeah, the one time with these people.
Okay.
So we'll get to their murder weapons.
Great.
So there are several instances where people have felt him behind him. They've turned around to see John Sr. with a hammer raised above the guests' heads. And then John's
The
sorry, I got
Vizzies.
super burpy. So John Sr., trying to put the unwitting guests at ease, would just tell them that he was only hammering in a loose nail.
In the back of their head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the back of
This
their
has
head,
happened
yes.
on at least
Oh, sorry, that fell out there.
Sorry, I was just.
this nail's coming out of this floorboard.
Oh, I need to tie my shoe.
So witnesses that experienced these instances reported John Sr. having either have a claw hammer or a shoe hammer. So these suspicions and near-death encounters were never reported, and the Benders went on piling up bodies. So in December of 1872, Ben Brown from Howard County, Kansas, disappeared, along with W.F. McCrady, who was in
McCarty.
the early versions of karate.
Yeah, McCarty. It's Scottish karate.
Yeah.
Do they just headbutt people
Yeah.
while they're super drunk?
That's where Scotty Karate comes from. Yeah.
I feel like there's a story there.
Right? Yeah. Just karate in kilts. Yeah.
Use your fucking
A lot of
tool.
balls flying around.
Right. Gotta be careful with those high kicks.
Yeah. Yeah. Instead of breaking boards or breaking like those giant logs they flip in the Highland Games. Yeah.
So, McCrady was in the Illinois infantry. So, along with
The what
Him-
infantry?
the Illinois.
Okay.
which this is
That's a state.
yeah, it's a state.
It's east of Kansas.
It's also north of Kansas.
Yes.
So, who do you think he fought with
Who he fought with?
in the Civil War?
These folk? Where's Kansas? Mason?
Illinois. He's from Illinois.
Illinois.
Which
That
side
would
did
be
he
the
fight on?
Union.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I was
North
asking.
Union.
I thought you were asking Kansas. I was like,
No, Kansas wasn't really a state.
I was
yet.
gonna say I don't know where Kansas is on the Mason-Dixon line.
So
Jamie, any thoughts? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think they were a state.
They weren't
then.
in a state yet. I don't think.
Okay,
right?
good.
Yeah.
No.
we could Google it.
Nope, my phone's over there. We're not googling shit tonight. We got Jamie. We're just gonna use him as our reference.
We're good.
Yep.
I got you.
And his word is final. No one argue.
Yeah.
No.
So him and his friend, along with his wagon and team of horses, went missing. And so did another man named Henry Mackenzie, who was relocating from Indiana, and his team of horses also went missing. John Boyle from Howard County went missing, his horses and saddle, and then along with John Greery, a man named Red Smith, a lady named Abigail Roberts, and there were 4 unidentified men that were found in the Drum Creek again.
Hold up.
What's that?
Hold up.
Okay. No, we're good.
Oh.
The
Okay.
OSB just froze for a minute, or OBS. Sorry. We're good.
Oh, okay.
It just
Obus.
had
The
stopped
obus.
doing everything. I was like, it's moving now. We're good.
Do we need to
okay.
All right.
No, it's fine.
timestamp? Okay.
No. Proceed.
So,
We'll edit all this.
totally.
Yeah.
You guys
No,
have
we
listened to enough to know that they're rarely edited. Or you haven't noticed, which is good editing. See?
Mind games. There was also a man who may or may not have been named Jack Bogart, who's
A boggart?
Bogart? It's probably Bogart.
Bogart.
That's
Boggart.
Bogart.
Definitely a
It's definitely
Probably
Bogart.
Yeah, Bogart, you Harry Potter head. It's a boggart.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So his
Well, I mean, they
horse
didn't
was
know who he
purchased-
was.
Do what?
He didn't know who he was.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. They're not 100% sure anyway.
Exactly.
So his horse was purchased from a friend of the Benders, by some other random person. So they're like, oh, he could be somebody who went missing and was murdered by them.
A bender friender.
Yes, a Bender friender.
Okay.
I was gonna say angler, like a bender and an angler.
No,
I don't know. Made
no,
sense
that was
in my head.
terrible.
Whatever,
Stop.
dude.
Bad jokes are welcome here.
No, I'm waiting for the bender over joke.
Oh no, you're supposed to keep that to yourself
Until they all
Opportune.
die, because they're all going to die at the end.
the benders don't die.
Oh, well, eventually they do.
Nope.
Benders never die.
No one knows where the fuck they went.
Well, this is the 1800s. They're dead now.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
No,
They're not still.
I mean, we don't know. They
alive.
could have been immortal. She could have been a
It's
witch.
True.
Ooh.
she was a witch.
She was a witch.
She's a self-proclaimed spiritualist
Right? And she can
Exactly.
do whatever.
And a healer.
Street. Yeah.
and a healer.
What was it called? Phrenology?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then the benders made.
That's what we're going to call her from now on. Doing phrenology on you.
Yep.
So the benders,
Oh.
She finally got it. See? It's a slow burn.
I'm smart. I swear, guys.
It's that phrenology, man.
So the benders made their first grave mistake. They decided to murder a man named George Newton Longcore.
That's a
And
lot of
his-
names, by the way. Just keep throwing them.
They also murdered his 18-year-old daughter.
18-month or year?
Month.
Okay.
18-month-old daughter.
That's terrible.
Yep. So
Yeah.
they were passing through to relocate to Iowa after his wife died. And the pair would be missed by their old neighbor named Dr. William York. So the morning that the Longcores set out, Dr. York and another fellow neighbor sold them wagon and supplies for their moves. So Dr. York knew of their plans and when the pair would be arriving at their destination in Iowa.
Okay.
So George set out on the road to Independence and then onto the rest at the inn near Drum Creek. So they had to pause. They're like, we're tired. We'll sleep here for the night. The days of silence stretched into weeks of silence, and no one thought more of their absence until the Yorks got a letter from the Longcore's friends in Iowa asking if they knew where George and his daughter could be.
That's the where you at text of the 1800s.
Yeah, the Pony Express.
Yep.
Yep. At about the same time, a wagon had been found with signs of murder happening, but there were no bodies.
Sorry, in my head, it's just a wag with a sign on it that says murder.
Yeah, I was saying, is there like little signs?
Murder.
Like
Yeah.
murder? Worm signs.
That can be your little graphic for this podcast. It's just a wagon without a wheel missing, and it just says
Yeah.
murder across it. Yeah.
Murder.
And like one of the old timey like stake in wood with it carved in on a crooked.
From the cartoons.
Seeing it all come in.
Yeah.
So the wagon and team, like the horses, were unclaimed, but eventually they were recognized by someone who was linked like through the 3 degrees of separation from the Longhorns and Dr. York, who identified the wagon as the one that Dr. York had sold to George. So Dr. York made his life mission to find his 2 neighbors. So here's when things get a little bit convoluted because it was the late 1800s and piecing together timelines is a little bit difficult because places can take days to get to. So they're like, oh, it could take a day to 3 days. No one's going to question it. And also record keeping wasn't exactly the best back then.
Was there any sort of like police, like unified police at that point?
No.
It's all just every department for
This
themselves.
This is like Billy
Yeah,
the
probably
Kid.
not out west.
No.
Yeah.
Is that where you have individual sheriffs anyway and shit like
No.
that?
Yeah. I mean, I guess you'd have
Self-proclaimed sheriffs. I got a
Self-proclaimed
badge.
sheriffs.
I'm good to
I
go.
run this town.
Yeah.
I mean, it is called the
Exactly.
Wild West.
Yeah.
And then obviously over the last 150 years, like information's been messed up.
Telephone game.
Yep. So Dr. York set out to search for the pair along with visiting his sick father. So 2 birds, 1 stone kind of thing. Dr. York set out on March 3rd, meeting up with others of George's friends a few days later while they searched every nook and cranny in the area they think they disappeared at. They're looking for George and the daughter. So Dr. York made the statement that he didn't think that George would have driven this way toward the like the Osage Mission Oh no, where they put the so I left something out. The wagon was found 20 miles north of the Mission Road.
Okay.
And so Dr. York was like, there's no way he would have taken this route because it's so far out of the way from where he was headed.
Okay.
So he was already sus.
Okay.
Hopefully, he printed off MapQuest directions.
So
That's how old those are. 1800s.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
Oh yeah,
believe it.
because they had the internet.
So, Dr. York had speculated that the murderers may have left it there to avoid suspicion. And so he carried on from the search to his father's house in Fort Scott. So Dr. York then turned to head back, hoping to reach home by March 8th. But the days wore on, and he never made it. So his wife, Mary, grew sus after having like this uneasy feeling when he left. And so she wound up taking a carriage with a friend to her father-in-law's, who had also not seen his son. So now multiple people,
Lots of people involved.
yeah, are like, we haven't seen him. In the meantime, on March 10th, there was a meeting held for locals at the Harmony Grove Schoolhouse.
There's no way to do that quiet. Sorry.
You got to cough to cover it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also
Just right in the middle.
That's how you get away with it in the
Pause
movie
for
theater.
cause.
Right?
Everybody take a drink break.
I'm out,
I've been drinking.
I'm
bro.
out of drink.
I'm out of drink.
I
Sharing
didn't
is
clear my
caring. What is that, by the way?
real love.
No.
They share
What,
drinks.
what's
That's
the
a-
drink?
It's a Bold
Bold
Rock.
Rock.
I don't
I
know
think,
what
I
that
think
is.
it's a North Carolina.
It's an apple
exclusive.
cider. I think it's made in North Carolina.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's a North Carolina.
I'd say it looked
exclusive.
really.
It's gluten free.
Yay! Not all ciders. We had this discussion
Yep.
already.
It says on the bottle. gluten-free.
Okay. We'll pick up a 6-pack of that. We're on the way to your wedding. You know.
There you go.
Do it.
So they had a meeting at the schoolhouse where a lot of the locals decided they were going to discuss public matters, one of which was the accusation of disappearing people along the Mission Road that was all in Osage.
Just
I got
stick to
really
it.
burpy.
Be confident with that
Yep.
Osage.
So a lot of people, there's a lot of like,
You can look at them. You
what's
look at
the
me
word I'm
enough.
looking for? No, I look off a lot. So there's a lot of gossip around
It's
why
the horse thieves.
people are disappearing. Yeah. And so Osage County was really upset because it had developed a really negative reputation. So
Shocker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People just keep disappearing, and people don't
People
want to
just
go
keep
there.
disappearing. Where do we not want a vacation?
When are they going to blame it on the natives? That's coming, right?
They kicked them all off. They can't blame it
Oh,
on the
that's
neighbors.
right. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So the York brothers, not Dr. York because he was traveling. There are multiple brothers. I think there's 3.
Every
actually.
family had like 8 kids back then, so yeah.
If they were lucky. A lot of them died before then.
That's true. They tried to have 8 kids. You get like 3 or 4.
Because they kept dying of dysentery.
Or what was it? Gastritis.
Yes, right. That's what I
Re-
got.
No.
That's why we had to postpone.
Yes. Thanks, Tiff.
Too soon? Do we need to check your drinks for arsenic?
Is that what causes?
Do you remember the one
Oh,
we did
yeah.
with the woman who kept killing all of the children and her husbands?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was
That was
Early.
a long time ago.
I don't remember that one.
So, Jamie, Beth, cover your drinks.
yeah. Hide the arsenic.
No, he's too lazy to do
Does this
that.
smell like chloroform to you?
Yeah. That I would
Whatever
believe.
helps you sleep at
Arsenic, he'd
night.
be too cheap to go get arsenic. It's not computer parts. He doesn't care.
Right. It's probably in computer parts.
Probably. So the York brothers, along with the 2 Bender men, they wound up attending this meeting. So it was decided that there would be a mass search of all of the properties in the area to try to find what could be going on and to put a stop to this. So John Sr. remained silent the entire night. So everybody, their neighbors, everything's like, of course, check our home, check our home, check our home. And John Sr. was like, Nah, beige.
Don't peek behind my curtain. Yeah.
Paying no
So,
attention to
that
the
night-
man behind the curtain.
Like the Oz. It's the worst version
Yeah.
of Oz ever.
The
Sorry.
Bender of Oz.
So that night, March 10th, it was extremely cold night. A pair of friends and their dog traveling along the Mission Road from Independence stopped by the Bender's Inn. So one of the two was already familiar with the stop. He'd been there before, was like, this place is great. These guys are so nice.
So nice.
Yep. So they
So
stopped to
nice.
get warm.
She gets
Bless
an
her
accent.
heart.
Yeah. It's the trailer park that comes out of me. So
Can't
inside
take the
John-
trailer park out of the girl.
Yeah. Yep.
No, dude, if I get mad, I get real ghetto, and I don't mean to. Like, it's I get-
Napoleon trailer park ghetto.
Oh, no. It's not the Napoleon trailer
She was
park.
Michigan
I didn't-
Center.
I was the Michigan Center trailer park.
Don't worry, that's worse. It's not better. It's
No.
it's just well, I guess it's just different.
Sounds like there's a war.
Yeah.
There's a lot of meth.
They come whistling and snapping at each other.
West Side Story style.
Yeah. High waisted pants. That's in the West Side Story, right?
Yeah,
They're
it
high,
was
yeah.
Sure.
80s or whatever.
80s?
Whatever.
I don't know.
No, West Side Story
It
is
wasn't
based
based
in the
off of the
60s.
80s, but I think it was shot in the 80s.
I don't know.
It was made in the 80s, but it's like based in like 65.
We watch
64.
more Sweeney Todd musicals, not West Side Story.
Swing your razor wide. Sorry.
All the singing.
Sorry.
So
Yeah.
inside, John Sr. was stoking a very minuscule, tiny fire. He greeted the pair coldly and noticed the dog that was with them and immediately tried to hit the sniffing dog with a big stick that he'd snatched up near him.
What's her
Dude,
problem?
I don't know what's going on, dude. She just started busting up laughing, bro. I'm like,
She almost said John Cena.
me and Scott look at each other like, what the fuck is going on?
I legit am drunk enough that I could have said John Cena.
Do you know who John Cena is?
Yeah, he's the big wrestler guy, right?
Okay,
Or
yeah.
football or whatever.
Wrestling, football.
Close enough.
She's like, he's got muscles, right? Well, he does something.
No, he's got a dad bod with muscles on
He was
top.
in Suicide Squad,
Was
Yeah.
Was he?
the new
Yeah,
one.
the
Dude, he's
new one.
really good.
It was very good.
He's really good in that movie.
But like he's still
Wait, the
got
new
dad
one?
bod with muscles on top.
the new one.
I
It's
haven't
actually
seen it.
pretty good.
Go see it.
We are bad at catching up on TV. That's why we're going down to one episode a week. We can't watch anything.
Gotta catch up on the letter, Kenny.
Yeah. They haven't seen Letterkenny.
Ugh.
They don't watch Letterkenny.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, we had this discussion last time when you guys were up.
Yep.
Yes.
It's not worth getting
Stupid.
Hulu for, but if you have Hulu, it's worth watching.
Or if you're bumming off of a friend's Hulu,
Well, that too.
you know.
We've all.
I mean, I
Yes.
totally pay for Hulu myself.
Yeah. Me too. Separately.
So the owner of the dog stopped him and put the dog outside so this strange man wouldn't just beat his dog for sniffing around like
I
dogs
was
do.
really hoping we could avoid the dog violence for an episode.
Yep.
Yes.
So
please.
John Cena told them that if they wanted to get warm, they would have to try to buy the firewood and build their own fire. That the Benders didn't have any extra wood. So then John Jr. wound up interfering, and he placed himself between them and the stove he was building the fire on, threatening
Bend
them
her
and
over.
ordering them to leave immediately, which they did so despite the freezing weather outside. It seemed odd at the time, but it wasn't until later, after lining up the dates, did it occur to the detectives and the pair of men that had gone that most likely the reason for the small fire and the anxious, rude Benders was the overreaction was that the lawn cores were probably still being stored underneath the trap door that they have in their bedroom.
Okay.
Inside
How's
the
the trap door in
cellar
their
that was
bedroom?
below the house, which is where the Benders kept all of their victims until it was safe to bury their bodies.
Oh, so not alive under the floors? They're dead under the floors?
Yes.
Wouldn't that be stinky? Wouldn't they smell that?
Yes. We'll get to it.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh. Okay.
So March 11th, according to witnesses that saw a man on a wagon that matched Dr. York's description, he was headed toward the Benders at about 10 or 11 a.m. So Dr. York should have arrived about midday at the Benders' Wayside Inn. undoubtedly asking if the Longcords had been there since it was rumored that the pair had stopped by an inn by Drum Creek. So that night, he was murdered. And after searching the
Dr.
Benders...
York was? Dr. York was?
Yes.
Shit. I thought he was going to live.
Aw, man.
No.
I had a good feeling about Big Bill.
No.
Right?
I'm sorry.
God, I thought he was going to be our hero.
Ruin my hopes and
No.
dreams.
I'm really good at ruining people's dreams.
Right?
Look at him.
I was like, Scott's still there.
Yeah. It's like every great TV show. Don't fall in love with the character. They're definitely going to die. So you just got to
That's
wait
just
for
all
it.
of Game of Thrones.
Exactly, yeah.
So, after searching the Bender's house, there were 2 German books found. In one, it was written Big Slaughter Day, followed by either March 11th or January 8th. So that's why they think that March 11th was the day that Dr. York was murdered. And there were multiple different accounts from like different sources, but most consistently, I think March 11th was the day that it said for
Big
the
Slaughter Day?
Big Slaughter Day.
Not talking about cattle.
Nope. They had no cattle. No, they might. I'm just kidding. They totally had
They
cattle.
had 160 acres. You'd think they bred cattle.
Yeah, they did have livestock. So the days wore on, and the York family became more and more sus. Finally, Senator Andrew York, who is Dr. York's brother, he set out to find his brother along with 75 to 100 volunteers on April 2nd. So they combed over the entire Mission Road, the prairie, they dredged the Drum River, they interviewed every house and homestead and villager that they could find. Eventually they found the man who had saw Dr. York headed in the direction of the Benders' Wayside Inn. So that is where Senator York headed, along with the group of volunteer men. So once they arrived, Senator York asked the family if they had seen Dr. York. All 4 of them vehemently denied that he had ever stopped by the inn, and that they had never seen a man fitting his description. Eventually, the older Benders, they suggested that maybe he had run into trouble with the Native Americans while on the road.
The ones
Of
they got
course,
rid
there
of.
it is.
Yes.
Yep.
There it
Yep.
is.
Yep, you're right. It was in
I
there.
was waiting
Yes.
for it.
Of course it was.
I wrote a lot. So I'm like, no, they don't mention it. But
No.
you're right. It's there.
Yeah.
It's there. It's always there.
Yes. So Kate suggested that the senator return on the 4th alone, and she could perform a seance to show him exactly where Dr. York's body was buried.
And the senator fell for it?
No.
Okay.
Okay, I was like, the
No.
call is coming from inside the house.
Run. So
Just get down on your knees.
Yeah.
face me, and I'm going to rub on your head.
Yeah, I'm going to slowly... Never mind. Just got to know when to stop sometimes.
So, that night, the Benders, unbeknownst to everybody, left.
Oh, just up and left?
Yep. So they
They
didn't
just
wait until the
pieced.
4th. They were like, peace, and left.
Shit.
Was that a mic bump?
Oh, my
It
God.
was.
She's done it like 5 times.
I know.
That's
We're going to start all over.
sticks
Hold
out.
on. Hold on. We
Am
got to
I-
start.
That's what she
Alright.
said.
Oh, and my depth perception's bad.
Yeah, she's lightweight. She's had 2 beers. She's hammered.
I'm not
Yeah.
hammered.
She's
I'm
drunk.
tipsy.
Yeah.
I'm working on number 4, and I have 3 more pages to read.
She's going to die by
Solid.
the end of this.
So, this was
There's noises above us, by the way. It's probably nothing.
this was like beginning of April. So around May 1st, a man named Billy Toll, who was a nearby neighbor, was driving past the Benders' homestead and noticed the place looked oddly abandoned. So the livestock were on the brink of starving, and after some snooping around, he found a calf that was tied up round the back of the house that had passed away. So about the same time, detectives had also found a wagon that was abandoned and tipped over about 20 miles from the Wayside Inn.
Little murder signs on it.
Yes, with a murder sign.
Yes.
They also had a team of horses that were attached to it that were nearly starved. And then Billy Toll went to inform the town treasury of what he'd found, but because it's May in the Midwest, there was bad weather that kept people from investigating the Wayside Inn. So at this point, word had also reached the Yorks that there was something going on at the Benders' homestead. So Edward York, the brother, sometimes it's reported as Senator York, but it was not. It was a different brother.
It's a lot of Yorks.
Yes. The book that I read was written by the wife of Dr. York.
Okay.
And she said the other brother named Edward was the one who went out this next time. So he had showed
So it's
up.
Dr. York, Senator York, and Ed.
There's also a lawyer.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't remember what Ed's.
Every family needs an
profession-
Ed. Overachiever, 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 Ed.
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 So he showed up at the Benders Inn along with volunteers to search the property. They broke into the house and they found everything mostly intact except for clothing, food, and anything else that was easily movable. So the men were also accosted with a smell of something putrid. There's that stank.
Dr. York, rotting in the basement.
Rotting
Nope.
in the basement.
I was going to say cellar.
Not him. Not him.
As far as I know, it was probably just a...
No, they found him.
Okay.
He wasn't in the cellar.
Okay.
Where was he?
Nope, they
We're
found
getting-
him in the orchard. Right next to that orchid.
Oh, the single
The one
orchid.
orchid,
The one
yeah.
orchid got it.
It was so bad that people had to leave the house. Like they were gagging and throwing up.
Oh, dead corpse. Yeah. I can
Not a
imagine.
single dead corpse.
Well, that
Wait,
doesn't
there
come in
was-
Yankee Candle.
We'll get.
Yeah. Oh, boy, is that rotting flesh?
Smell this, dear.
So
Coming this October.
Buy one, get
rotting
one.
corpse.
Yeah. Pairs well with pumpkin spice.
Yeah. Basic bitch model.
A lot of basic bitches are into true crime, so
Yeah.
it seems applicable.
That's true.
Exactly.
So of course they had to find where this stank was coming from. So behind the canvas partition, they found the trap door that was located at the end of the Bender's single bed. So all four of them
Slept in one bed.
slept in one bed.
Slept in one bed.
Yeah, I mean possibly
Cozy.
not.
That
Like-
doesn't say trauma, but okay.
No,
Maybe they slept in shifts. Like every 2 hours, one would get up.
we'll get okay. I didn't include this quote, but Kate was all about her brother. Like there
Oh.
was rumors that she was porking him.
Oh, like Crimson Peak style?
We'll get to it.
It's back to Game of
Oh.
Thrones references
Yeah.
here. You know, we got to just keep it
Yeah.
going.
Well,
So
I didn't use one.
this trapdoor was nailed shut, but it had a leather handle. So they pried the door open, and it revealed congealed blood that had soaked and like congealed on the slab.
Oh, from dripping through like the boards?
No.
Or just from in the basement?
So they would slit their throats, push back the canvas, open the trap door, and push the bodies inside.
That's fucking Sweeney Todd.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Sweeney
like-
Todd style.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's
So he-
Sweeney
they
Todd
would-
style.
Yeah.
Yes, they would bash him in the back of the head.
Would they put him in meat pies and sell him in the grocery store?
No, they buried them. They were fertilizer.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Oof. Boy, those apples taste good.
Yep. So
We did say they were German.
And
blood sausage.
blood sausage.
She did like herself some phrenology and blood sausage.
On her knees.
So, yes. So they found the
That's the
blood
taco
soaked.
deer, not the sausage.
Oh, whatever.
So they found the blood
It's not
soaked.
Taco Tuesday.
Oh no.
On your service menu for the spa, instead of scalp massage, just change it to phrenology. Yeah.
That sounds
$20
fancy.
$20 add-on.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait until next Halloween. I'm gonna get crazy with the menu.
Oh no.
I don't have time this year, but next year I'm gonna do it. So they found the blood-soaked slab, and they also found a 6 by 7 foot by about 6 foot deep cellar. So the men then broke up the sandstone slab to discover that the blood had also soaked into the dirt underneath the stone.
Yum.
Yep. but there were no bodies. They even moved the entire house off the foundation to search the rest of the cellar, hoping that they could find anyone buried under any other part of the cabin, but no one was found. So the cellar, which was strategically hidden right behind that spot of honor, the place of honor at the dinner table, so they would get bashed in the back of the head with either a sledgehammer, a claw hammer, or a shoe hammer.
By Johnny Depp.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
then they would move the curtain, they'd open the trap door, they would shove them inside. Someone would jump down and slit their throat for a good measure, and then they would leave the bodies there to bleed out, and then wait for it to be a more convenient time to bury the bodies, usually at night. Or if they murdered them during the winter, they would stay in the cellar until the ground had thawed enough to bury them.
Nice and cool. Perfect.
Which is
Perfect.
why the night that those two men and the dog showed up was super sus. And them keeping that fire really low. They kept it low enough that they personally, the benders, would not freeze, but not too hot to expedite the...
Thaw the bodies?
Yes. Yep.
It's gross.
Yeah. They tried to
Yummy.
slow the putrefaction.
Well, that's why they all slept in one bed, stay warm.
While bodies putrefied beneath them.
Yeah, you couldn't heat the house up. Smell like dead bodies.
So anyway, Edward York, overwhelmed, he stepped out into the backyard, knowing this is where his brother had met his demise, but they still had not found his body. And this is when Edward noticed that there was a weird dip in the orchid, with a clump of subsoil sitting above ground. Curious, because the typical plow should not be disturbing soil that was that deeply, like in the ground. So after digging up the soft ground in that little dip, he discovered his brother face down in the dirt, stripped of clothing, with a smashed skull and a slit throat. How you guys
Yum.
hanging on? You just look depressed AF.
It just slowly wears you down, right? Like it just
Yeah,
gets
right.
worse.
It's a slow-
and
No,
worse.
I
the
mean
slow
it's just
burn.
like I'm listening to any other murder podcast. I'm like, solid.
Of course.
Right?
Of course, that's how it happened.
Yep.
It's easy to make jokes in the beginning, then eventually you're like, fuck, this is sad.
Bitch had it coming.
Yep.
Oh,
The doctor.
Yeah, bitch
Fuck
had
that
it coming.
doctor.
Fuck that doctor. He went searching for people he cared about. Fuck him.
right? And of all the ones that lived, it was Ed. Come on now.
Yeah.
That's what teach you. Don't be an overachiever.
So
Get
the
murdered.
search party then decided to search the garden and the orchard, realizing that constantly tilled up soil was the perfect way to hide bodies. So no one would question it if the ground was soft and tilled up and dug, because they're growing food.
But if they had pigs, they wouldn't have any evidence at all.
You know? Yes. Okay.
There is a serial killer who did that.
Yes. I was going to
And
ask, in Canada?
Yep. And
shit, what's his
sold, and they theorize that he actually packaged some of the meat.
Oh, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what he...
in with
oh,
the
God.
pork, like it was mixed.
Do you know what he did to his victims?
I don't
They were all
remember.
sex
It's been a long
workers.
time.
They're all sex
they're what?
workers.
Yeah, they're all sex workers.
Yep. And they
And-
found, after investigating him, his last name starts with a P. Pinkerton? Pinkton.
Peckerton.
Fuck, what's his name?
I don't remember.
Samsonite.
Wait,
So
I'll
Samsonite
Google it.
had
Someone's got to
guns
Google something.
in his house. I think it's George Pinkton or something like that. He had guns in his house with dildos strapped on them as silencers. Hi. I told you. Y'all
One
are
of the-
like, don't look up this audio. I'm like, I
don't even know what to
realize how
Google.
traumatized I am.
When are
My
they going to
brain
put
has
those in
gone
Tarkov?
foggy.
Wait,
Dildo
what?
silencers.
When are they going to put the dildo silencers?
Oh, the
in,
dildo
Tarkov?
silencers.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let me add him on Twitter real quick.
All right.
So while
Canada
she's looking
pigs.
at,
Robert William Picton. You're
Picton.
close.
that's it.
Picton.
Yep.
Pigton?
Pick.
I was gonna say, are we
Picton.
sure it's not Pigton?
No,
Yeah.
Picton.
Oh
On
yeah.
the
No,
door.
there. He's
He's
On the
fascinating. I will
A
say
treasure.
he is He's a big
I
one.
mean-
He's a big one.
He killed people with dildos and guns. That's pretty interesting to me.
And pigs.
Yep.
Coming on
He
next
was
week's
put on
episode.
trial. I didn't know
Yeah,
he was
he
put on
did.
trial.
Yeah,
way.
I think they wound up finding him guilty, but I think
Did
it was only
they?
the murder of one person they could actually pin him with.
Probably the only one they had evidence left for.
Yes, yeah, because the rest were eaten
Eaten by pigs.
either pigs or people. You know,
Both.
both.
Did she warn you guys this was going to be a two-parter and super long?
Yep. So
I don't know.
after finding Dr. York,
We
the
know
next
now.
day, the search team headed back to the property with steel fence rods, like post rods, in hand. And so they would search the garden and the orchard. So they went around and, like, this was still mid-spring. So they would go through with these rods and they'd poke the ground. And if it went through softly, they knew they were going to hit a body because it was freshly dug up dirt. So, like, anywhere where it wouldn't give, they're like, that's not a grave. And then where it would give, they're like, we'll dig here
If only they had a witch to tell them where the bodies were.
with you dowsing rods.
Yeah.
The dowsing rods.
Yeah. So they found a total of 7 to 8 more bodies that were buried in the orchard garden area, all with blunt force trauma to the back of the heads and their throat slit. And they were stripped down to their skivvies with no money, although clearly robbing was not their motive, because some people literally had less than $1 on them.
So it was just for sport?
Yep, just for shits and gigs.
Because fuck them. That's why.
Yeah, exactly.
That seems worse.
Yes.
That seems significantly worse.
Among the body count, they actually found George Longcore and his 18-month-old daughter.
18-month-year-old.
Yep. So there was actually a lot of mixed information about how old the daughter was, because eventually at some point along the newspaper reporting, it had got switched to like 7 to 10 years old or something like that. But again, the book that I was reading, she even addressed the issue. She's like, eventually the age got messed up, but I promise you, they were our neighbors. She said 19-month-old.
Oh, so like down to the month.
Yep. She's like, it was a baby. So his daughter did not have any discernible wounds, so it was thought that she was either suffocated or buried alive with her father. The cats.
I don't know if that's worse or not.
Our cat's going wild.
She's
She
clawing
hates
at the
being
door.
locked out, so she's
Yeah.
literally just at my door.
She's like, let me in. I'm out of here about babies
Well,
dying.
mostly because
It's like,
I'm
open the
in.
door.
Yeah. Or was it? I'll throw
I can't-
stones.
Yeah, I don't even remember the Dr. Phil fucking
TikTok
audio.
town,
TikTok.
yeah.
Look, I can't handle Dr. Phil. He's not a...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the audio.
So anyway,
It's just for the TikTok.
it is.
Yeah,
That's what we did
exactly.
for
Do
the
it for
gram.
the
Do it for the vine.
For the Vine. You're showing your age.
I'm not that old.
I was born in 1989.
But y'all are older than me.
That's true.
Shit.
Shit.
When were you
I was born in 91.
Oh, that's whatever. 2 years. Psh. I thought you were gonna be like, I was born in 1995. I'd be like, Jamie.
No, my brother was born in
cougar.
96.
You cougar? I don't think that's how that works.
No, I think that's how it works.
You man cougar.
I was like, is there a term for the other way around?
I don't know. Pedophile.
Cradle robber? I've always heard cradle robber. Pedophile. That's the extreme.
Same thing. Cradle robber,
nope.
pedophile.
Don't think those are the same thing. I think you got your lines crossed there.
Too many busies.
No. I try not to let my really dark sense of humor out, but I'm really good at taking like a joke from one person and making it way worse. So in addition to the 7 to 8 people that they found buried, they found 4 separate bodies, like bodies worth of parts. And they also found another victim in the well.
She was loving it. She was having time of her life.
You have to watch the YouTube video to figure out what's going on there. It's fine.
I'm not gonna tell them.
Nope.
All right,
Gotta
Nope.
shamelessly plug that YouTube. We're up to 9 subscribers. Thank you.
look at us go.
I just hit our microphone stand.
So they found 4 separate bodies worth of parts, along with another victim in the well. So if you count the victims found at just the homestead and the other unidentifiable body parts that they found, just like random bits and bops that they're like, this doesn't make a person. There's 5 arms here.
Yep.
It doesn't.
No. It was, and then
Killed
you
a human
also,
spider.
if you also include the, yes, like the human centipede, but worse.
What's that Mortal Kombat
Ugh.
character with all the arms?
Goro.
Yeah. It's been a minute.
Sure.
Yeah.
So if you include
Never
all these
played
people, and then you also include the people that were missing, like in the prairies and in the rivers that had like very similar head wounds and slit throats, that's why the victim count can reach up to like 21 plus people. So it was speculated that after eyewitnesses, survivors, my lord, I'm gonna try that sentence.
You nailed it. A motorcycle
Solid.
by anyway. It was a good time to pause. After
Yeah.
eyewitness survivalists or whatever you said.
I studied English. Did you know I did a speech class where I did a speech in a speech class in college. I got a standing ovation.
Really?
Could you believe it?
Oh my god.
I can't read worth a damn. Anyway,
Go back to your terrible sentence.
it was speculated after eyewitness survivors came forward and gathering the 1870s version of evidence that Kate would usually distract their would-be victims, usually by telling them their fortune, their future, or using phrenology. And in the meantime, one or both of the Bender men would be behind the canvas partition, where the person had their backs pressed so closely against that the backs of their heads could be made out. And this is how the Benders knew where to strike, either with one of 3 hammers: the shoe hammer, the claw hammer, or the sledgehammer.
What is a shoe hammer? Like I assume it's for
I have
like
no
Hammer for
like for like a
shoes.
like a cobbler hammer, but how does it differ? It's small, I'd assume, right?
Yeah, it's more...
The sledgehammer seems aggressive to the back of the head.
It's for the bigger people.
Yeah.
So, from the pictures, it looks a lot like a ballpoint
Ball peen?
hammer, except minus the little
A ball
round
peen
nub that's
hammer?
on the very top.
Okay.
Yeah,
A ball peen hammer.
yeah,
Yeah. Peen.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Yeah.
yeah. You could probably Google they're on display.
They're on display.
Yes,
They left the murder weapons there. Amateurs.
to it.
Amateurs.
So then the canvas was then drawn back to reveal the trapdoor, and then the Benders would then push their victims into the cellar where their throat would be slit for good measure. Here their victims would lay for the best time to bury them, usually at night or when the ground had thawed. Holes would be dug in the garden or the orchard.
Holes with Shia LaBeouf.
Yep,
The orchard.
yep, the
Yeah.
orchard.
We've
So
gone full circle now.
They-
Yep.
Yeah.
they tried
Start
to
a hole.
They tried to bury them about 5 to 7
I'm
feet down.
tired of this, Grandpa.
People are gonna think the whole podcast is just starting over again.
Oh no, it's starting over.
This is the pod that never ends.
And it
That was
goes
my
on
singing.
and on,
Yeah,
my
that was-
friend.
So the Benders were even careful enough to keep the subsoil and the topsoil separate so as to not draw any suspicion to like any oddly tilled dirt. Obviously,
Don't
they
be-
messed
come
up.
on.
Do what?
Now
It's
we need
been
to
stuck
don't
in my
be
head the whole
suspicious thing.
pod.
That's all right. I just have
If you
Pirelli-
randomly see me start doing like this, that's what I'm doing in my
Sorry,
head.
I just have Pirelli's elixir stuck in my head.
What the hell?
Senior Pirellis.
Pirelli's
Yeah.
magical
Yeah, Senor
elixir.
Pirelli's. Yep.
Yeah.
That's stuck in
A
my head.
shave of the face, a trim of the beard,
Beard.
No, don't you be shaving at the face.
trim of the beard.
You can trim it up here.
I'm looking a little Amish though. I'm not gonna lie.
A little
today.
bit. At least you're not Hasidic Jew just yet.
Yeah, it's the shirt. If I had like the flat hat, I'd look full
Probably.
on Amish right now.
Oh
could,
yeah.
He could do that though. He's got that curly hair. That's why he keeps it high and tight on top.
Well,
Good.
kinda.
Yeah.
I just
Don't go
shaved
Hasidic Jew.
Yeah.
Not a good look.
No.
No.
So, after investigating the Wayside Inn, detectives turned their attention to apprehending the Bender family. Their trail had pretty much gone dry after following wagon tracks to the abandoned wagon.
I thought trails went cold, not dry.
Yep, totally. They went cold. The trail went cold.
Just metaphor shaming you.
The trail went cold.
And
The
dry.
river ran dry.
And
Yes.
dry.
But not Kate.
No. Nope.
Sorry. That was a stretch.
Yep.
So they wound up finding this their abandoned wagon outside of a town called Thayer. So the townspeople
Everyone's watching the dog. No one's paying attention.
I'm waiting for her to do something funny.
were fully disassociating. She's not doing anything. Look how precious she is.
She's just sitting.
Right?
Okay, keep reading.
She's a
We're back
star.
in. We're back locked in.
Sorry.
So
I just was watching her, and then I looked up and saw them watching her. I was like, nobody's paying attention to you right now.
so
The Hasidic Jews, what were they doing?
Wait, who are you?
so the townspeople were really upset. They once the trail ran dry,
That's right.
they decided to turn their attention on nearby neighbors and friends. So they were convinced that there was no way that either the friends or the nearby neighbors would know, like, did not know what the Benders were up to. So they were like, all y'all's are accomplices. We need to figure out what's going on. So there were 12 false arrests and a literal torture. The townspeople wrangled up another grocer named Brockman, who was the closest neighbor. He was also a partner to John Sr. from 1869 to 1871, before the Benders moved out there. I don't know what they mean by partner. I didn't dig into that.
Like grocer partner?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or
So
otherwise.
Brockman was also a fellow German immigrant, and clearly all the Germans stick together. So he must have been in on all of these murders.
It's racist.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
solid.
And he also must have helped in their escape and known about their escape plan. So the townspeople repeatedly hung him from a tree 8 miles out of town.
How many times you gotta
So,
hang
a
somebody?
lynching?
Repeatedly?
Would you like to know how many
Lynching?
times?
So like, could he like tippy toe it? Like,
No, they pulled him up till he couldn't breathe, and he was nearly dead,
And I would let him down.
and they let him down. They did this 3 times.
that's torture. Yeah.
And would you like to know how much information they gathered from him?
How to hang a man repeatedly?
They didn't get any information on the Benders.
He probably couldn't talk. You broke his neck at some point.
Yeah, they didn't break it. They let him down after the 3rd time, and he just stumbled home delirious.
Oh, he didn't die?
With all the brain. No, just
What a
brain
trooper.
damage.
He survived 3 hangings? Well, he needs his own episode.
Well,
That's gotta be a world record.
Well, that's because they're pulling him up, not dropping him down.
Yeah, they're not dropping
Yeah.
him. They're pulling him until he can't breathe, and then they let him down, and they've
Hey,
been like,
what's up?
"Tell
Oh, it's
us
like
where
in-
they're at."
It's like in that one
Sounds like
Muppets
Pink.
when they stretch the guy on the boat.
What?
What?
The Muppets?
How do we get to Muppets?
When they would stretch the dude on the boat. I don't remember what Muppets that was from. Nobody? All right.
No,
Nope, nothing.
Nothing.
They
Who
stretched
watches
a
the
Muppet on a
Muppets?
boat in like 4 different directions.
They cornered a
They
Muppet?
quartered a Muppet?
Jesus. Cartoons were
And
really
he
different
just
back then.
stretched.
Apparently.
You don't. Okay. I'm
You
going to
walk
have to
away
find
all,
that YouTube
all stretchy.
Yeah, I'm going to find that YouTube video. It's
Oh
out
my
there
God.
somewhere. Or it's on
No
my
wonder we're
brain,
all
which would be
fucked up.
way worse.
Guys, he was raised in a conservative Christian home, but they let him,
But you watch the Muppets.
they let him watch him draw and quarter a Muppet.
Yeah, you got to learn that discipline.
The fear of God in him early. So, eventually they let him go, and he stumbled back home.
Just dragging the tree.
Brain damaged.
They said he was in a state of near delirium. I wonder why.
Yeah.
I can't
Shock.
imagine why.
Yeah.
It was that eye roll, Beth. Like, it was bad. It was like...
Was
all
it
the
a
way
big
back
eye
then.
roll?
So soon the detectives managed to pick up a lead following what they believed to be the Bender's trail through like to this train station, and then from there. It had been confirmed via eyewitnesses and the paper trails that the family bought train tickets in Thayer. Kate and John Jr. went south from there, and then to the end of like the rail line, which was near Red River County, which they went into. It was by Denison, Texas. I don't know.
Oh,
Just throwing
No
some
idea.
names at
Sure.
ya.
I know exactly where that is.
Totally. It's right here
Yeah.
on the mitten.
theirs is like, I don't know,
Yeah,
not a
there's no
shape.
good way to do Texas out of hands.
Use my forehead. It's like, yeah.
So from there, it's believed that the two moved into an outlaw colony that was between Texas and Mexico, which was considered the most dangerous part of the West. No one bothered following them into that territory because it was said that any lawmen that had entered would never return once they ventured in.
Olay.
Yep. So they were like,
The food though was killer.
Literally.
I really could go for like a burrito though. Like
I'm
a
not gonna lie.
smothered burrito.
Beth and I are merging into the same person.
Yeah, I
Because we
was
keep
just-
saying the last like 3 jokes at the same time.
Even with the delay,
Yes.
it all syncs up.
Yes.
So one detective claimed that he did follow the pair at least to the border, where he claimed that John Jr. died of apoplexy,
Okay.
Don't know.
Okay.
some old-timey disease. So Ma and Pa, which were the nicknames for John Jr. and Elvira, they headed north to Kansas City, where it's believed that they bought tickets either further north to St. Louis, Missouri, or the two pairs had wound up joining back together and headed into Mexico. Or they headed north to the Wisconsin, Michigan area.
Oh hey, we know that area.
Yeah. So, according to different vigilante groups, there's multiple groups. They all claimed to do different things. They were tracked down. Stop.
No, they need to see the kitty. Look at him. He's
Yeah.
Yeah, they do have the most
Oh,
beautiful
no.
babies.
I try to not trap him in cords. Oh.
So anyway, these multiple vigilante groups all have different claims as to finding and murdering the Benders. So, according to one group, they were tracked down in the prairie where they were shot, where that group had shot everyone but Kate, who they then burned alive. Or there's another group. Yeah, it gets happy.
She's a witch, so.
She's a witch.
Yeah, she's a witch.
They
Yeah.
have to burn her.
Yeah.
They have to burn her.
See, I'm
Yeah.
telling you. So another group claimed that they lynched them and
3 times.
threw their bodies into the Vetagris River. I don't know.
Sure.
Yep, that's the name. Or that they died via gunfight and buried them in the prairie, or that John Sr. was arrested for a murder from a blow to the head in Montana, where he then escaped by severing his own foot and then bleeding to death on the run.
It's a slow run
What?
without a foot.
I was like,
Like Saw
are
style.
we watching Saw 1?
There wasn't a lot of
Saw
detail.
style.
That was just one of the like many things that, like the rumors that like they disappeared and then this is what happened afterwards.
Just a guy on the run after sawing off a foot is just a great visual. Just
It's just it's a
He's
hobble.
He's on the hobble.
He's on the hobble.
yeah, Igor making a run for it. Yeah.
So there were stories and speculations abound. Tons of people claim that they had enacted the revenge of the Bloody Benders, but none claimed the rewards that were put on the Bloody Benders' heads by the governor and by the lawyer brother, Alexander York, which wound up totaling $3,000, which is about $53,000 in today's monies. Either way, there have never been any truly confirmed identification of who the Bloody Benders were before their murder spree, or what their fates were after they disappeared into the prairie. It is generally assumed, though, that the true identities of the Bender family was that John Sr. was actually a man named John Flickinger. John Jr. was John
Flickinger.
Gebhardt?
Oh,
Gebhardt?
so you don't even, they weren't actually related.
Not at all. And that
Doesn't seem
Kate
like they all
was
were
Elvira. Oh, sorry. That Kate was Eliza Griffith, and that Elvira was Almira Meek Griffith, and that Kate, aka Eliza, was Almira's 5th daughter from her 2nd marriage, because Almira's husbands just kept dying on her.
Oh, I
Yeah.
wonder why.
At
Well, that
least
would
it made the
explain
sleeping thing
the-
not as bad.
That would
You know?
explain
Now
the
they're
whole
not. Yeah.
John Jr. Kate thing a little more, though, if they weren't actually siblings.
No.
Yeah.
It's also
as Game of
speculated
Thronesy.
that Eliza and John Gebhardt were actually husband and wife, or at the very least lovers.
Okay. So
Yeah.
the siblings.
It wasn't actual incest. Yeah.
But they still all shared a bed, so that's something. Communal living.
Yeah, and Kate and Elvira, aka Eliza and Almira, were they were the only two that they believe were actually related.
It's a lot of names.
Yes. It's very
Yes.
confusing.
Yeah. You
Hey,
can
we're on the
separate them.
last
There's 4
page, guys.
people.
We're so close.
Yeah.
We're on the
Stagger
last
them like
page.
1 and 3 or 2 and 4. Yeah.
Yeah. It just surprises me that these people didn't know each other and they weren't related. And they were like, hey, want to murder with me? And they were like, yeah, man, let's do that shit.
Somehow they find each other.
So,
meet
those
on
blows that part
Tuesdays.
blows my mind.
Yeah.
So,
Just a little murder club.
it's amazing
Yeah.
how often that happens. Like, I have a very specific couple in mind, the Moores murders.
Oh, I was thinking the
Or-
less ones.
The less murders.
That's a terrible joke.
Yep.
Womp
Or
womp.
the Columbine shooters. Klebold and whatever the fuck his name was. Like,
Not as interesting name as Klebold.
how do they find
Klebold?
each other?
They were friends, weren't they?
Yeah, but like, how does it come up in conversation casually that you're like, you know what, we should shoot up our school?
Or we should start.
Well, there's
flogging
I can
people.
go deep into that if you want.
Oh, bro, I'm all about the Columbine shooting. Like,
Yeah.
Save that for another podcast.
okay, call
Yeah.
back to the Columbine shooting happened because of the OKC bombing, which happened because
As-
of Waco, which happened because of Ruby Ridge.
Yep.
It goes all the
Exactly.
way to the top,
Yep.
To the ridge.
to the top
Yeah.
of the ridge, to the top
Rich
of the
white
Ruby
people,
Ridge.
man.
Yeah, they're all crazy.
Yep.
Whoa. Whoa. As 4 white
They're
people
like
sit here.
they're like 60%.
I said
crazy.
rich.
Rich people. Oh
I
no,
said
these
rich white people.
Oh, yeah. Or it takes an eccentric white guy.
It takes a schizophrenic white guy who's not like properly medicated.
You
Oh,
just
that's
got
it.
called eccentric last episode. You might want to.
Oh.
Eccentric.
You're outing
is way
yourself.
nicer than- what did I call you?
I did say that I wanted to start a cult as a podcast joke, like just to see how far it could go, or a conspiracy theory. And there's podcasts that already do that. So, like one that's called like Let's Start a Cult. I haven't listened to it, but
Or you know.
There's a podcast for everything.
Joe Rogan's not a, he's not a,
he is.
he's working on it.
I am way. Yeah, it's bad.
Okay.
Okay, we'll
Oh,
get to it off air, or I'll have another mental breakdown.
Oh
All the
no.
breakdowns.
Just an existential crisis. So over the next 50 years, nearly any pair of women that traveled together alone was accused of being Ma Bender and her daughter Kate.
With a sledgehammer. Yeah. Nothing to
Yeah.
see here. Come lay against this curtain.
So one case went as far as extraditing 2 Michigan women to Kansas, where one woman quickly
What'd they do to him?
extradited.
I don't know what you said, but it wasn't
You
extraditing.
said like extricated.
yeah, it's like
Victim.
extraditing. They were extraditing to Michigan. Okay. I don't know what that is, but
Take 2. They extradited them.
oh, we'll edit that flawlessly.
Yes.
They
nothing
extradited them
happened.
from Michigan to Kansas. Where one woman quickly threw the other woman under the bus as Elvira / Almira / Ma Bender. But records show that that particular woman was actually getting married in Michigan at that time of some of the murders. So there's no way that would physically be possible.
That she was rubbing skulls.
Yeah. So there's a lot of back and forth evidence. Eventually, the two were released, and they wound up heading back north to Michigan. And then in 1884, John Flickinger, a.k.a. John Sr.,
A.k.a. John Cena.
a.k.a. John Cena Bender, he was found in Lake Michigan, having died by an apparent suicide.
Trying to get to Elvira / Elmira / whoever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is the story of the
He
biggest
died on
mystery.
a boat via suicide?
No,
That
they
said-
just found his body in the lake.
Oh, in Lake Michigan.
Yeah. And that is the story of the biggest mystery of the American West, the Bloody Benders. How do you guys feel?
I'm fine.
Delicious.
Delicious?
Delicious.
All right, Jeffrey Dahmer.
Shh.
Nom, 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 nom.
So nowadays, there's nothing left standing of the house. People from all over the country traveled for thousands of miles to see the property where these horrendous deeds occurred. It was picked fully apart, every board, brick, piece of furniture, even the stones lining the wells where a victim was found.
Like
And-
souvenirs?
Yes, they were all kept as souvenirs.
Yum.
People are
Yep.
weird,
Yeah,
man.
that's weird.
Yeah.
And it was the 1870s, so they were like, sure, come on in. Fuck evidence.
There's no evidence here.
Who would
Yeah.
go like, oh, hey, you want to go to that place, halfway across the country and see where a bunch of people got murdered?
Yeah, let's
sounds,
do it.
Sounds great.
Let's pack up the wagon. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Let's go see a body shoot.
Let's not die of dysentery.
Yeah. Instead, they get apoplexy, whatever.
Apoplexy?
Yeah.
Apoplexy?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah, that.
So
Everywhere.
The hammers are on display at the Cherryvale Museum, where the museum president said that about half of the time visitors to the museum are just there specifically to see the Bloody Benders hammers.
What else do they have there?
That's it. Oh, I don't know. I have no clue what
Just a
else.
podunk
That's it.
museum in Kansas. Like, they had,
There's some corn and some pictures of the
No one
Dust
goes to
Bowl.
Kansas on purpose.
yeah.
Isn't Kansas where the giant ball of string is at?
I have no idea. You talking Route 66 things?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think the giant ball of yarn is in Kansas.
Is it? Yes.
Yeah, I think so. I forget where the giant rubber band ball is though.
Add it to the bucket list.
If you peek at giant ball of string, I'm out. Like, why would I go there?
The Bloody Benders hammers.
You can
clearly.
stop. You can stop on your way to the London Bridge.
Yeah.
Duh.
Or-
After
or
we go to
Paris.
Paris, Michigan.
We're going to
And then
Paris.
you go to
we're gonna
Paris.
stop. We're gonna
Just-
stop by that next weekend. We're going to
Are you
Houghton
really?
Lake, so we're stopping.
We're
it's
making
on
our
the way.
friends, yeah.
They don't know yet. We're just surprised. They don't listen to the podcast, bastards.
Assholes.
To be fair, one's a nurse, so she's kind of got a lot going on. And a new mom.
Okay, that I guess that's fair.
So she
Yeah.
can't.
I guess.
I mean, throw a headphone in. Come on now.
Doing CPR, listening to us talking about the Bloody Benders.
Everyone's got to commute to work. Come on.
Right?
Hers is 5 minutes.
Whatever.
Oh shit.
she works
Lucky
out.
Bitch.
You can listen while you work out. I watch his streams
I used
while I
to do
work
that.
out most of the time. Wednesdays,
At least,
leg day.
At least you don't watch it in the shower like apparently the other guys do. That's just
What?
fucking
Creepy.
Yes, I have two friends that watch me while they're in the shower. I'm like, why are you telling me
That
this?
is creepy.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, what? Yeah. I'm like, what the fuck, dude?
Just say I'll be back and then go shower. You don't have to keep-
PRB. That's all
Yeah.
you gotta type.
Yeah, lurk
Oh,
away.
I got
They
John in
really-
the shower. I can't talk very much. Like,
They really want some phrenology done by Jamie.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
They want to read your scalp.
So there's also a dark stained knife that was collected from the homestead. It was handed over to the
A Bowie
state.
one?
They don't know if it's blood arrest.
No, a Bowie one.
A Bowie, yes.
Yeah.
They collected a Bowie knife, and it was handed over to the state of Kansas from one of the York brothers' wives. But it's currently archived at the State Museum. But you can still ask to see it, though.
Hey, I'm here for that bloody knife. You got it?
Yeah. Let's get my
I need that
fingerprints
bloody
all
Bowie
over it.
So that's it.
You have sources before you forget?
I do. So I have Wikipedia, of course.
Always in your state.
Murderpedia. There's an article from CNN.com titled property that once belonged to a family of serial killers goes up for sale.
Let's use that term family loosely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They also had it for sale. Oh, fun side
Was it
story I
still
didn't include.
$10 an acre.
No. So I was reading one of these articles, and there's a family that had been farming it, like outsourced farming it. And the brother of the guy that they were interviewing at one point, like back in the 90s, rode his horse by a cistern, like an empty old cistern. He carved Kate Bender into a pry bar and dropped it into the cistern.
Okay.
Just to be an asshole.
Why?
Just
What?
random.
Why not?
Jesus.
Also, an article from Kansas.com named The Bloody Benders, 140-year-old crime scene still fascinates today. Already mentioned Murderpedia. There was a PDF I found called Malice, Madness, and Mayhem by Beverly Roth. And then the book, The Bender Tragedy, which was written by Mary York, Dr. York's widow. She wrote that in 1875, which was only 2 years after her husband was murdered. So
Recent.
she's a badass.
For sure.
Yep.
Nice.
And that's the Bloody Benders.
Sweet. And
Nice.
we obviously appreciate you guys being supporters on Patreon, which is, we would have done this anyways because we're friends and all, but it's
Yeah.
nice that you guys support. So if you want to shamelessly plug, I mean, you can throw out your Twitters, and I know, Jamie, obviously you have content you
Or your
create as
TikTok.
well. Your TikTok, yeah, whatever you want
With
to
your
do.
poor cat that's a potato.
Potato cat.
Potato cat.
Potato cat.
Their
The cat. The, like, don't.
I don't have
I'm a potato.
TikTok.
Oh, dude,
Yes.
the dash, yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
I don't
did
have
you put that
TikTok.
out?
Yeah.
She does all the cat TikToks.
Yeah, I do all the cat TikToks.
Don't
Yeah.
worry, I watch them all.
I do the gaming TikToks.
Yeah. I just like them and scroll.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, shamelessly plug away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until you're raw.
So yeah, as Scott has probably said, I'm Big J 1066. Basically everywhere: Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Not Twitter.
But I couldn't-
We looked. You're BJ
Twitter.
1060 on Twitter.
Yeah, it's BJAY1066. They wouldn't let me put Big J for some stupid reason. I don't know why.
Huh.
Probably because it's talking about your big J.
Yeah,
Probably. We do have your Twitch handle up on this video, so people can
Oh,
find
nice.
you. Yeah. And they can
Nice,
hear you
and I
scream
don't-
woo just randomly while you're playing video games.
Yeah.
And
Or
screaming
provoked.
about macaroni and cheese.
And mac and
Yes.
cheese, yeah.
Yeah, mac and
Or
cheese.
today, I don't know if you saw my epic tweet, but I'm gonna buy a Subaru. I'm gonna drive my Subaru.
I already have a Subaru.
Subaru.
Oh, I already have a Subaru. You should make that your license plate.
Subaru.
Super woo.
Super woo.
Subaru.
That's
Yeah, and I don't do anything important to shamelessly plug.
Nothing important? Would you like
No,
to see my
my-
papers spread everywhere?
Yeah.
I'm not kidding when I say just
Yeah,
throw
I
them
thought-
behind me.
I lost track of how far we were in the story because you threw the first page. I was like, cool, she's gonna throw the page every time.
I
We can
did.
kind of keep track of where we're at.
I'll have to post how many papers.
Yeah, I
are
can't
just-
see that.
the carnage is real.
It's
So yeah.
all over our entryway.
And we'll split this
Oh,
up
no.
into 2 episodes because it's like
Yeah.
been 2 hours,
Jesus.
right?
Yeah,
Flies
it is
by.
almost 11.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Right there on the
bedtime.
computer,
I gotta get up
technology.
and golf in the morning. Whew.
We both got to get up and work.
I gotta work
Yeah.
because I'm an adult. I have a job.
I have a job too. I just don't work tomorrow.
Yeah,
Okay, look.
it's my second
He's been
job.
he's been working 6 days a week
For a while,
since the pandemic started, practically.
pretty much. Yeah, working in a lab during the pandemic's been rough, but tomorrow I'm golfing.
Yeah,
Gotta
sounds
celebrate
terrible.
those victories,
Yep.
sounds terrible.
Golf.
right?
I hate golf.
Me too. I cuss a lot.
You gotta take advantage. You gotta take advantage while you can when Michigan's not playing at noon. You
I
gotta
know.
hit those early golf sessions.
Yeah, when she's
Yep.
like, "Did you want to record Saturday night?" I was like, "No."
Nope. I already told her. I was like, I don't know if you plan on doing anything Saturday night, but just exclude me from all plans, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
She
always
mentioned
exclude you
it.
from
That's
all
why we're
plans.
recording tonight.
Yeah, because I was thinking last Sunday, I was like, "Well, Jamie and I could record one, and then you and like Tiff and Beth could record them." I was like, "It'd be better if all 4 of us were together." But
Yeah.
and she
Yeah.
had this whole
Usually works better that way.
essay going, so. And now we don't have to do anything. This is the most ahead we've ever been recording on a Friday Friday night for the next week. This is unheard of.
Nice.
Oh man.
Nice.
We usually record Monday
Hey.
night for Tuesday.
See, now the key is to find
Yeah,
a good
yeah.
place to chop it.
Oh yeah,
We'll find
Figure-
it.
we can find
I'll
the
just
spot.
hard chop and then fade into the
In the
next
middle
one.
of the sentence.
Yeah.
John Cena cut.
John Cena. And scene.
And
Exactly. So, but we appreciate you guys doing it, and
This was fun. You guys are funny, so it's
yeah, it was, and nobody got like so shit faced they like lost control of the words coming out of their face. So
I
No, I
worked
did
on
keep
it.
hitting the
I'm
mic,
halfway
though.
there.
yeah, we're gonna keep going
did-
probably after this.
yeah.
We gotta
I
go
did
watch
keep
Hot
hitting
Ones.
the mic.
Oh, I hit the mic too.
Oh,
Jamie
yeah.
saw me hit the mic
So
with
many
my
times.
ear.
Yeah.
I saw
Dude,
it.
it's
I'm not
very
used
vibrant. It's like.
Yeah.
Oh, this one or hers?
Well, because like,
Mine's
No,
attached to the
yours.
big metal
Yeah.
arm.
well, because there's like a coil thing
Yeah,
here,
she keeps hitting my
Springs.
pop filter, not the actual mic.
Yeah.
Oh,
and it like sticks out, and like I have no
That's
depth.
what this little thing. This is my
yeah, I have
pop
no
arm.
depth perception, so
Yeah.
I
I
have
just
one
keep
of
hitting
those.
it.
we have a pop filter. We just don't use them. We use the wind things and call it a day.
Yeah.
Suffer with our popping peas.
In the
Popping
earthquake zone.
peas.
Yeah, the earthquakes when I suck at sitting still so hard. Like it yeah, not my strength. That's why we don't do many visual ones, because normally I'm like, wee the whole time just talking.
I know. I was trying so hard not to do that because I'm at work and I do that shit.
Yeah.
I'm
Just have me
like, I
clicky
can't
pen.
swivel.
That wouldn't
I've
drive
just gotten
everyone
used to it after streaming so long, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
that's
just,
true.
I was focused.
Well, I can't even sit and play a video game for more than an hour, or I get all restless and I have to stand and play and stuff. But
Yeah.
sitting
Yeah.
still
I need
is
to get
not
a
my
standing
game.
desk for work.
Yeah. If I'm not live, like I usually stand up and do stuff between. I do
Yeah.
laundry a lot in between games. That's like,
Yeah, that's how all my laundry gets
it's,
done. It's
yeah,
great.
it actually works out really well.
Great.
Yeah.
It means I don't have to do my own laundry.
Yep. That's a good way to do it.
It's a good
So,
system.
it works
Yep.
out
For
great.
sure. All right. Well, we
Yeah,
appreciate you
me too.
guys doing it, and we'll
Yeah.
we'll have to do it again.
Yeah.
Soon enough.
Alrighty, man. Appreciate it.
Oh,
Huh?
and if you've made it this far,
Congrats.
congrats.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
We made it this far.
All right, I have a desperate urination sensation.
Is it sweeping the nation?
It is.
'Kay.
I have to pee.
See you guys later.
Okay.
Bye.
We're just gonna awkwardly hang up. on
Bye.
each other.
Yeah. Well, we don't have to hang up on them. I'll just stop everything.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye.
Oof, that was terrible.